Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into something you'll use like every single day, how to compare stuff in English. It's absolutely key for having real conversation, so let's get right into it. All right, let's kick things off with a classic question. Coffee or tea? Which one is better? See? For everyday decisions just like this one, we absolutely have to know how to compare things. Okay, so take a look at this picture. We've got two hotels here. In English, you'd say something like, the Excelsior is bigger, and for the other one, the Plaza is cheaper. Did you catch that? See how we're changing the end of the word just a little bit to compare them? So these special words have a name, comparative adjectives. I know, that sounds a little technical, but don't worry about it. It's actually super simple. They're really just words we use when we want to compare two people, or two places, or two things. That's it. Seriously, that's all there is to it. And you know what? I promise, comparing things in English is way easier than it sounds. You only need to remember like a couple of super simple rules, and trust me, you'll be doing it like a pro in no time. So yeah, that's really it. Just two simple rules. You ready? Okay, let's jump right into rule number 1. Okay, so our very first rule is all about short words. Let's just call it the rule. For short words, the ones that usually have just one syllable, all we do is add right onto the end. It's that easy. So old becomes older, tall becomes taller, and fast turns into faster. Pretty simple, right? And what's really cool is that this idea isn't just in English. It's in a lot of languages. For instance, in Russian, blynny becomes dlynye. It's that exact same idea. You're just adding a special little ending. When you see that pattern, it can make it so much easier to remember that, yep, tall just becomes taller. All right, so we've got the short words down. Now it's time for rule number 2. And this one is for the long words. You're gonna love this. With longer words, the ones with 2 or more syllables, things get even easier. We don't change the word at all. All we do is put this one magic word in front of it, more. So expensive becomes, you guessed it, more expensive. Difficult is more difficult. And a word like beautiful becomes more beautiful. Okay, let's quickly recap, just to make sure it sticks. The 2 big rules are, for short words, you add For long words, you use more. That's pretty much the whole game right there. Okay, you're doing great. Now, let's get into the stuff that will make you sound really natural. We're going to cover the most common mistakes people make, and a couple of special words that break the rules. Honestly, getting these right is what takes you from sounding like a beginner to sounding like a really confident speaker. Lean in for this one, because this is the number 1 mistake I hear all the time. You can never, and I mean never, use and more together. You just can't say more bigger. You have to pick one or the other. Since big is a short word, we just use So the correct way is bigger. Just remember that. It's either one or the other, but never, ever both. And of course, every language has those few words that just like to break the rules, right? Well, in English, the 2 most important ones you have to know are good and bad. Good doesn't become gooder, that's not a word. It becomes better, and bad becomes worse. These 2 are just special, so you'll have to memorize them. They're worth it, I promise. All right, so that's all the theory. We're done with the rules. Now we get to the really fun part. Let's see how you can use all this to build actual sentences that you can go out and use in a real conversation, like today. So when you're connecting the 2 things or comparing, you need this one tiny but oh so important word, than. Think of it like the Russian word chem. It's the little bridge between the 2 things. Let's actually build the sentence together, step by step, so you can see it in action. First, you start with the first item and the comparison. So, my car is faster. Easy. Then you add that little connecting word, than, and the second item, then your car. And when you put it all together, you get a perfect natural sentence. My car is faster than yours. Okay, let's run through a few more examples, the kind of things you'd hear or say every single day. For example, this phone is cheaper than that one. Or, he is taller than me. Here's one with a long word. Paris is more beautiful than London. And hey, check this out. Here's one of our special words in action. My new car is better than my old one. See how it all comes together? And hey, here's a little bonus for you. This is a super common English phrase that uses this exact idea. The sooner, the better. It basically just means doing something earlier is a good thing. It's one of those fantastic little phrases that will instantly make you sound more like a native speaker. And, believe it or not, that's basically it. You've totally got this. Seriously, you now have all the main tools you need to go out there and start comparing anything and everything. So, I want to leave you with one final question. What can you compare right now, in this very moment? Just look around you. Is your screen brighter than the lamp in your room? Is your coffee hotter than your tea was this morning? Go on, start practicing right now, and I promise it'll become a totally natural habit before you even know it.